Hi all, welcome to day 11th session. So just give me a ping in a chat so that I can correlate that I am live or not. Okay, I got a ping. So hi. So let's start our journey. So for a new some people maybe joining a new on something. So you can the very first thing you have to do is this URL, right? This is very important URL. You all remember this, right? I already sent multiple times on a chat, and I'm sharing this channel. So I'll just give a brief overview. Right here you will get a day wise videos, presentations, and all cheat sheets. So basically some user complaining they are not getting a cheat sheets or materials, whatever I am posting it using it here. So everything I documented it clearly from here. So you just need to go and click and click on these links. You will get it. If anything is missing, just ping me. I can able to upload that. Let's suppose day one's minikube installation command I want to see. I can directly click here, right? It will take me to here, right? Detailed documentation is given, and all command whatever I used, it's documented here, right? So like this, see, and some people were also asking me whether these things are sequential, day wise. It's best if you do day wise. So but what I say is, right, you can do day one and then immediately you can join a live session if you're missing or something. It will also encourage me, first thing, and second thing is you will keep track, and in remaining of your time you can finish these things, right? Day 2, day 3 and all those things. So most of these are independent, they are not dependent on one and another, right? And each day is designed in such a way that you should not be dependent on anything. It is not that day 2, day 3 are completely dependent. You still can understand other day, right? With that, let's start today's session. So I also uploaded few videos, right? I keep uploading offline videos, so you guys if you get a time see it. Let's start today's session. Right, let me close this. Okay, so welcome. So we were discussing yesterday about CI/CD, and in Azure also we saw, right, how it is, how these things are done. A very basic thing we have seen there. So now let's jump to today's session. So what we are going to do. So in today's session, the agenda is so we wanted to do some school project, right? This is what the thing, a big thing I was showing you from couple of days. So I didn't got much time to code that school project, right? These APIs and all those features. So I'll be doing this weekend, maybe from Monday we can see that actual school in action. But to not block you all, right? So what I did is I took some ready-made code, right, which is something called as a PetClinic. It is a famous code by Spring. If you are aware of a Spring Boot or Spring, you really know this. If not, nothing, right? This is something called as a PetClinic. So today we are going to understand this code, what it is, and then build it locally, right, on my machine. I'm going to show you, and then we are going to build a Docker image out of it, container image, and then we are going to push it in a Docker hub. So this is just a public repo I created. I just wanted to push and show you how it can be pushed in container registry, right? The question you may be asking now, why we wanted to do it, right? So yesterday you have learned that CI/CD have these many stages, right? So we'll check out the code, we'll build it, unit test it, deploy it, and then test it and push it to Docker repository. This is what general CI lines are, right? So first thing is, before doing it in Azure, I can easily do it using YAML and I can show you, but you will never understand how exactly to do manually. So usually, like, for any automation job, it is recommended that you first do manual and then, like, automate. So the same thing I am doing it now. So I am going to take this code out, compile it, build it, and then I'm going to push it, build a Docker image out of it, and then push it to a Docker repository, right? And then tomorrow we are going to automate in Azure, right? Okay. So, the thing, typical stages of this is in CI pipeline, as I write, I'll just repeat it again. Check out the source code from GitHub or any repository, build it, do unit testing, do Docker package, and push it to registry. So today we are going to do all these stages, but manually, not automated. Tomorrow we are going to automate it, right? Okay, so let's get into this code, what it is, right? So here, right, if I do PetClinic, I'll give this link to you as well, right? But I need a REST version, because that's where we are talking, right? Till there. This is the repo, GitHub repo, where I'm taking the code. So if you are not developer, don't be panic, right? You don't need to understand the code and all. So what you really need to understand is take this code, build it, and Dockerize it. Your main task is this. Your task is not to understand the source code and everything, right? So let's take this very simple code and understand. This is the source code, right? And how to clone it? Very simple, right? You can use this, copy this, and then use git clone, or you can also download a zip file here, right? Whichever is easier for you. The best suggested way is to do a git clone. Basically, it's also documented here. You can do this, just copy these line and do it. So that we are going to do it in practical session, but let's go with our presentation back, right? Okay, so we were here, right? Okay, so now let's try to understand this code base overall, right? So what it is. So generally in a pet clinic, right? Pet clinic is basically a animal pet clinic. Basically all your animal pets, dog, cat, or some domestic animals, right? Cows, buffaloes, all these stuffs are there. Assume that there is a pet clinic. Okay, so now try to who all will come in this pet clinic. Okay, the first is pet owner, right? Pet's owner. Basically, let's say example of a dog. Then dog's owner, they are going to come, right? These are the one entity. Okay, who else will come? So obviously, it's a pet clinic. Pets will come, right? So, and what is the next? Next is veterinary doctors. So we use word vet, right? For these doctors. Okay, these doctors are also going to come. Okay, now each doctor will have a specialty, because it's not going to be one clinic, because you are going to treat dogs, cats, all domestic animal. So each doctors or vets have their specialties. That also we need to consider, the specialists basically. And then to book appointment, to take the money charges, all this clerical work, right? Clerical and administrative work. So we need some users who can take it, and they have their own roles and responsibility. So if you see, right, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 category of people, or 5 category of entities, right? So let's see in detail about these ER diagrams. So what happens is, they also covered a visits, because the relation between pet owner and this clinic is pet owner and pet visits, pet owner with pets visits the clinic, right? So those informations are covered. If you see the pets here, name of a pet, date of birth, a type of a pet, and owner ID. And owner ID will have owner first name, last name, city, telephone number, and address. And similarly for doctors, we have same thing. Vet specialists, vets we have. Vets means doctor here. The first name and last name we are putting, and we are also putting their specialties here. And this is the linking table, vet specialties, right? And then each user will have their role. They can be admin, they can be a user, something like that. It's a very simple ER. Although you don't need to understand this, but I'm telling, like, you should be knowing everything, at least something out of it, right? Not all. Okay, so now let's go to, it's a demo time. Let's do some practical stuffs here, right? Okay, so I need okay, let me take a shell here, right? Terminal. Today I'm using, you might be surprised, today I'm using this Ubuntu rather than Windows regular machine. What happened is, mine is so this my personal laptop, it have Windows 10 Home Edition, right, license. So in that one, like, we have, I have a problem installing this Docker. So that's why, like, I preferred using the Ubuntu. So Docker installation and Docker is a separate topic I can cover in one of the day. But today we are going to cover very important aspect of it, right? So I'll be making one videos where you can, like, see the Docker installation and all. So, or you can also search in a net where you can get how to install Docker on your machine. It will guide you. You can follow the guide and install it. So I assume that Docker is installed, right? So that we can cover whatever it's needed. Okay, so let's go. Okay, this is what my, like, home directory looks like. Here I have something called day 11, right? I have already copied it here. So what I'll do is I'll just remove folder. Okay, I just removed a whole folder, deleted whole folder. You can see that nothing is there. Okay, now let me go to browser. Okay, and let me open this link. This link I'll be giving it in in a presentation. I'm going to put it so that you should not mess it out, right? And this presentation, obviously, I'm going to update it so that you should not mess, right? Okay, I updated it here for you. Okay, I just saved. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, I need to do a git clone. So let me go here and do git clone. Okay, what happened? Okay, so I need to do git. I also assume that git is installed on your machine. It's very simple instruction, right? I can upload one of the video for that, or you can search very basic installation of git. You can easily do it. Okay, you see that it have downloaded. Let me do ls. You can find this Spring PetClinic, all the source code and everything is, like, in proper. It have a license, version, readme, everything you can find it here. Okay, so now what you have to do is whatever it's written here, right? Now I need to do a maven command, right? I can either use this command, right, just to check, like, quickly check it's working or not, right? You can do that, but what I recommend you is use maven install. Okay, I'll tell you why it is, right? But first, like, we'll run it and we'll see it. Just have the preview what it is. So if you have any questions, if you are not following anything, just, like, put it in comment section. I can able to, like, answer the questions at the end. So is my screen is static? Okay, something it got freezed. Let me see what happened here. Sorry, I missed this. Maybe 10 minutes we lost it. Okay, let me close this and start. I think there is some technical glitch, so that my screen got, like, freezed. Sorry, I missed your messages also. So I'm started it again. So let me tell me once you can completely see it's as dynamic. I'm extremely sorry for this, whatever it happened. Now I think it should able to change. Please notify me once you can able to see the changes. Okay, Prashant told now it's visible. That's well and good, right? Yeah. So let me start it from again, because right, I mean it doesn't make sense to. But this time I'll quickly do that. So don't worry. We can finish it early. So sorry for the inconvenience. We have lost almost around 7 minutes. Okay. So welcome to day 11. So today we are going to okay. So we are going to see some part of this CI/CD. The whole agenda is to cover this complete CI/CD, but today we are going to see some part of CI/CD part, right? So okay, the agenda of this today's session is to get some code. I mean basically a PetClinic code, which is a ready-made code. I'm going to explain you what it is and all, so no need to worry. This is basically Java code. So what I'm doing is Java Spring Boot code. This is basically API code. So I'm going to take this and build it locally, build a Docker image out of it, and push it to GitHub repository. So why I'm doing this, right? I mean this is the question what you all have. So if you see this, this big picture, whatever we following from few days. So here this API and BL part, this we wanted to cover. Okay, so we wanted to cover it for school project, but this weekend I'll try to build some sample code for that and put it. For time being, right, I'm taking some ready-made code, which is a Spring Boot PetClinic reference code or API code, right? So with that we are going to do it. Okay, again the question, why I am doing this, right? Why you want to do all these things? So you know that in CI/CD process you need to build it, unit test it, deploy code, and do the sample testing, and then build it, unit test it, and then build a Docker image and push it to Docker repository. That you have to do it in CI line. So for this reason, instead of doing it automatically, let's do it manually first, and then we can really do automated one. Okay, with that, what are the tasks we have is in CI pipeline, what we generally do is check out your source code from a GitHub or any other repo, right, and do the build, and then do the UT, and then do the Docker package, and then push it to your registry, Docker registry, or some other any image registry, container registries, right? Okay. Okay, with that, I think you are now clear what we are doing today, right? Let's go back to agenda and see what first we are going to explore about this PetClinic, what it is, right? So here, if you see this PetClinic, right? So if you do this, right? If you Google, right? So Spring Boot, right? PetClinic API. So this repo is maintained by Spring Boot itself, right? This is a very famous repo, famous example of using the Spring Boot. So you can definitely see the coding style and everything. You will learn a lot of things from here. Okay, so this is the code I am taking it. Okay, so now come back here. Okay, so in PetClinic, like I quickly explained you already, but still I would like to explain it again, right? In PetClinic, what we have, the entities are pet owners, pets, doctors, and then, like, we have a doctor specialist, we call them as a vets, and then you have a users who will do the clerical work and roles. Those things we have, and those we are taking, right? So now let's go to the next part of it, right? Okay, let's see the ER diagram, how it exactly looks like. As I already explained, hope you have followed. If not, so for each entities here, right? So we will have a respective table, right? So for vets means basically doctor. For doctor we have first name and last name, ID, first name and last name. This is the table. For a visits, right? Customer do visits, or your owners do visit to the clinics. So pet owners basically. So for that we have a pet ID, visit date and description when they are going to visit. And for pets, name of the pet, date of birth and its type and its owner ID. And for owners, you will have a first name, last name, address, city, telephone and his ID. Right, and specialties, you have an ID, and then what is the specialist he is, dog specialist, cat specialist, and then you have a linking table, vet specialist, which will link between your specialist and vets, right? So vets is basically a doctor, it's an alternative term what we use. Okay, now we are going to jump for a demo time, right? It's demo time. So you need to get a code from here, right? So let me go here. This is already opened, right? So if you browse here, right, you will find a thing here, right, how to use and all. So with that, let me open my console. I am using today Ubuntu, right? I already did few steps, you might have missed. Okay, but let me do it again. So first I have to do is a git clone, right? Wait, let me go back and let me remove this, right? There is nothing. Let me execute this command, git clone. So it's going to download all the all the source code. Now I can, okay, let me do ls. You can see that there is a directory, execute it. Now there is a maven.this. Now we can directly use maven install. So what maven install will do is, it will basically create a new directory called target directory. In that one, it's going to produce your artifacts, right, manually. Or you can also use Spring Boot run, which will run the application. But let's use this command, which will generate the artifact. So it takes 2 minutes and then it builds. So I see one question here. We are only seeing, okay, we are not able to see screen. Okay, I think it's all about sorry, right? I missed the thing. Sorry for inconvenience. There are no questions. If you have any questions, you can put it, I can answer that. Okay, so you can see that now maven install, it got installed. Now what you have to do, you can see that there is a target directory and there is an artifact generated called as Spring Boot PetClinic this version.jar. So now what you have to do is, you do java -jar, then you put it here, and this will run this. Once you do that, then what you can do is, you can copy this URL. Basically it runs on 9960 port. You can change the port in pom.xml and you can do it. If you see it came up basically, right? It may not completely work because I am not running a database as of now, but yeah, for seeing that it is executable, it's enough. It's this proof is enough, right? Okay, so here you can see that you have all the REST controllers and everything is properly. For example, API dot pets. Basically it gets the information of pet, right? If I try it and click on try it out and execute, right, this is coming some response, and these are the in-memory thing what it is taking, right? Okay, so you can see that ID, name and everything, and it also giving the owner's name, right? And it also giving the details of the visits, right? Like this, all your APIs are there, right? So when you hit the API, this is the actual REST API which you are going to hit. Localhost this, right? Localhost at port 9960, this one. Okay, so let me do one thing, or else, right, like let me show you how it can be, because we don't have a security as of now. It can work in your browser as well, right? You can see it something like this here, right? And this is in completely JSON, right? If you are unaware of JSON, what you do is JSON tutorial. It is just like 5 minutes, it won't take much thing. You can json.org basically, right? What I wanted to open is, okay, so this is a very short and sweet tutorial, right? What you have, basically a very easiest way to understand a JSON. Although JSON, you are already used JSON, but try to look it, right? I mean, every time I look into this, right, I learn something new here, right? Something everybody don't know everything, right? So sometimes we miss something, you do it, and usually I refer this tutorial. It is like just a visual, you can easily understand what it is, right? So okay, now the thing, this is ready, application is running, up and running, right? So okay, now you can also see the proof that it will not work now, because we have made the application down now, right? Okay, so now okay, what we have to do is, for a Docker Hub, what you have to do, visit Docker Hub basically, and you can click Docker Hub login. So you have to sign in basically. Without sign in you can't do it. If you don't have a sign in, you create one account basically, right? I already had one account. You can do sign up, and then you can create one account for yourself. Okay, so I already experimented with that, so that's the reason why you can see, right, some things are here. Okay, cool. Now you have logged in here. The first command what you have to do is, now we have built this exe. Now what I can do is, I need to do one. Okay, I think I landed up in wrong thing. Okay, let me do one more directory called as, or I can do it outside, so that, right, when I don't have any issues here. mkdir, let's say doc is my directory, right? And I want to copy the artifact. So how I can copy? cp dot spring boot, then I have target folder, then you can see that you can see that spring boot, this jar, right? This file I want, I'm copying here. Okay, now we have this. Now we need a Docker file. I think when I deleted a directory, I deleted a Docker file, but anyhow, okay, so let me okay, before okay, I need to use this command as well, right? I mean, I need to log in basically, right? So now you are into this directory, you need to create something called as Docker file, right? So Docker file, right? This is very much important, this file, right? Here you need to put all the instructions, whatever instructions you wanted to put. I'll show you how to do it, but before that, what you have to do is, you have to log in onto Docker. How to log in? You have to use, okay, sudo docker, or let me paste a command directly here, handy it's, right? And you have to give username, minus username, and you have to give the username, and then you have to give password. if you observed here, like it asks the sudo password and then it is asking a docker password. It will do login. Okay, so I think I have not typed properly password. Okay, you can see that login got succeeded now, right? So now what I have to do is I want to push this to this thing, but before that I need to build a Docker image, right? So to build a Docker image, what I'll use is I have already existing thing, so I'll just use that. Right, so I'll explain you maybe here, right? So first thing is we need this from, and remaining, right, user ID group and all those things you can remove this, right? Second we need is this copy command, which will actually copy the things. We don't have application.properties, so I'm going to remove this. And what is the entry point? You need this. I'm going to remove this, right? If you wanted to give some configuration, you can use that way, but we do currently ours is very simple thing. That's why we are doing it, right? So let me open a Docker file here, go in edit mode, and let me paste these things, right? So if you see, right, I'm using a Java 11 here, JDK 11. Let me go back to my terminal. Edit mode. Okay, so this is thing what I have. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to give the name of, right, what the build name, basically what I wanted to do, right? Let's say PetClinic. So here, like, remember that you don't need to give the capital letter, or everything should be in a small letter. V2. Just need one more information from here. Okay, so I'll come back here. What I need is I need to find the exact var file name, right? Jar file name. I just need this. Control Shift copy. Paste. Okay, this I'm going to copy it from local directory, and you paste whatever the name you want to give, you can give, right? So, and then you can do the second step. Second step is basically copying the other file. Okay, second copy is not needed. I think it's one is enough for me to do this, right? So let me go back here. Yep, second copy I can remove it. Basically, okay, it did this and did this. I need to remove this. Okay, I can give something like this. Okay, so this is done. Just 3 steps. What it will do is it will take a open JDK and then copies this local to this file, and then we are going to specify that this is our entry point. Okay, java -jar, this one. Okay, I saved this file. Now let me use the command docker build, basically, right? So I am going to use something like this. Okay, so PetClinic, let's make it as v2. Okay, I think what we have to do here is, just a minute, you have to give a proper name here so that it can understand. Even this is also fine, I can use the same name, this is also okay. Let's do this. Okay, here it's saying okay, I think the mistake is here, right? We should not use the capital letter. Let me use something like this. Okay, there is a big letter. Okay, let's say v2. Okay, cool. I think the issue was not with that, issue was with case sensitivity, right? So now it will take some time and build it. I think now it's built an image. So the Docker is this much, right? So if you are afraid of Docker, a lot of command and all, these are the important command you should know, and other things are other things are very simple that you can understand. But this is the main command, Docker build. It is built. Now you have to do is tag, right? Docker tag. Okay, but for that let's go back from here. Why I'm referring here is this is where I'm going to update the things, right? The same thing you guys can also do it. Okay, but if you see here, I changed some naming convention here, so let me copy this. I'm going to do something like this. I given a latest, so okay, I'm taking this latest repository, whatever the image name I built, I'm going to tag it as this, right? And if you see, this is my repository name, right? So what it says is not a valid repository tag, invalid, must be in a lower case. Yeah, so again this uppercase is eating us. Okay, it's also telling that there is no image. Okay, if you see, it is cv2. Okay, let me make this also as cv2. Okay, this got tagged basically. Okay, so now once we did a tagging, now what we have to do is we have to do Docker push. So the Docker push, what it does is it directly pushes the things there, right? But for Docker push also it won't work because I need to give proper name. Let me copy this name from here. Okay, no, this will not work. I need to copy this name. I can do directly, but why I was not doing is there with that name it already exists. There is one image already exists, so it should not confuse you, right? Let's make it as 1.1.5. Okay, so tag does not exist, so it won't. I mean, I have to tag initially with the same name, but we have tagged already with 1.0.0, so let's it takes that way. Now it is pushing onto Docker Hub. With this, I should able to see my things here, right? I mean, I should able to see one more entry here telling this v2 it's working. PetClinic, it's not it came. Yeah, anyhow, it's uploading. So now once all this happens, it appears there. The whole funda or logic of today's session is this is how we do manually. Now we have to do everything like this from CI/CD, from Azure pipeline. In tomorrow's class, we are going to see how the same things can be done from pipeline, and we are also enabling the unit tests, and we'll try to see the report, right? So yes, that we'll try to see it, and see everyday session. I'll try to cover it. Basically, if I get more time, then I'll cover something, or else I'll cover few things, and then I'll cover in next day. Something happens, right? So please excuse for that. You can able to see now this, right? PetClinic, this has been done, right? So now I can also do that. Okay, now with this image, you need to deploy it on Kubernetes, right? So that is another task. That is a CD part. So we are going to see that CD part as well in coming days. But as of now, I think today this much is enough, and I think we already overshooting 10 minutes, but that is because we already started 10 minutes late because of that screen freeze issue. With that, I think, let me see if anything there in presentation. I think we are almost end. Yeah, it's almost end of the presentation. So let me take some questions. If you have, you can put the questions. Now the same thing tomorrow we are going to put it in a CI line, then we are going to see that. So if you have any questions, put it in a comment section. The thing is, I try to maximize, my screen is maximized, somehow that resolution is not taking. Some issue with the resolution. Yeah, sorry for that. Tomorrow onwards, I'll make this correction so that you can have the thing properly. Yeah, and also correct the font and all. Today it was on a Ubuntu, I really got a less time to set up everything on this machine. So sorry for that inconvenience. Yeah, thank you for attending the session. Let's meet tomorrow and let's see all these things happening right in Azure. Let's make everything on a pipeline and let's put everything on Azure and see it. But what I encourage you guys is to try it out, right? Hands-on. Try to see videos also if needed, or you can if you can see, maximize it, right? Somewhere in YouTube feature if you have, or you can zoom it in some way, you can see. That is the one way. And the other way is, right, I'll put all these materials directly because it's more on hands-on session, right? So what really you need is a set of commands, right? So those things I'm going to put it in our repository here. So under day 11 you will find all these materials. So you just click it and try it out. If you have any issues or any problems you find it, you put it in WhatsApp. I'm going to reply there. Yeah. Thank you and bye for a day.